James on TikTok had a clarification question about a video we posted yesterday about can a landlord pay or their tenant pay rent at the address where the landlord lives, if they live in the same building, like it's a duplex in this case. Hi, my name is Rob Wells. I'm the Landlord Warrior on TikTok and YouTube. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our videos. Now, we posted a video about a recent Court of Appeals decision that called out a landlord for several deficiencies in their 3-day notice yesterday. And I stated in that case, the landlord in that particular case stated that the tenant could pay rent at the same address of the rental property. Okay, the landlord didn't live there, and the Court of Appeals called him out. Well, James, in your case, if you live on a duplex, basically, I'm assuming it'd be like a unit A and B, or something designating which unit is what in your duplex here. So for your case, if you live in unit A and the tenant lives in unit B, you would demand that your tenant pay rent to you at unit A if that's where you wanted the tenant to deliver rent. You would put your name, your address, which would be unit A in this case, is just a hypothetical, and your telephone number. Okay. Now, I want to get questions about like roommates. If we live in the same house, actual same home, basically, is it okay to use, the property address? Absolutely, because you live there. Okay. The Court of Appeals in the case we were talking about yesterday noted that the landlord didn't live there whatsoever. Okay. I think they stated that rent could be delivered like between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. And I think it was inferred, or in that case, that the landlord never lived there. And that's what I was talking about. I have several landlords that they don't want to disclose their address or telephone number, what have you, and they'll list, okay, tenant, you can pay me at your rental address because I'll come and go pick it up. That's a no-no, because that's violates the rules of the Code of Civil Procedure, Section 1161, Subdivision 2. The law states exactly that you must state your name, telephone number, and your address where rent is to be paid. Okay, that's in the Code of Civil Procedure, and it's also in the Civil Code as well, Civil Code 1962. You have to disclose that information on the onset of the tenancy, and that's where I get a lot of landlords who they tell me, I don't want to disclose that information. I don't want the tenant to know where I live, etc. By law, you have to give the tenant an address where you can be served legal notices and legal process, like any lawsuits, that type of deal, and you have to specify name, telephone number, address, and forms of payment that are acceptable. And if rent can be paid in person, the usual dates and hours that rent can be paid. That's in both Civil Code Section 1962 and Code of Civil Procedure 1161, Subdivision 2. The court noted in that case we mentioned yesterday that the rules are there basically to make sure that everyone is crystal clear, basically, that how rent can be paid so tenant doesn't fall into default and get evicted. Long story short. So hopefully that clears some things up. Guys, if you have comments, questions, put them down below. If you're in the Northern California area and you have a non-payment of rent situation, you got a tenant not paying rent, feel free to reach out. We might be able to help out. Until next time, folks, we'll talk to you then. Thanks.